welcome to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. I'm Pat O'Meara here on GGR Radio, live in Seaside Heights. It is a beautiful day in Seaside Heights. The temperature is in the 70s. You're looking really relaxed. It's going to be in the 70s today. Right now it's about 65. Your air quality is fine. It's in the 30s. It is a beautiful sunny morning in Seaside Heights. The boardwalk is starting to open up. The beach is ready for you. Billy Ramboli and his DPW crew, they swept the beach. Nice and smooth. Water's nice. Boardwalk is all pristine and clean and all set for you to be here today. Traffic coming down. I'm a Jersey City guy, so coming down from Jersey City. Traffic was fine. You get out in the car right now, get on the Turnpike, take the Turnpike to exit 11. You take 11 down to exit 82. Get off on 82. Go to Route 37 east. And keep going there till you hit the ocean. First, you have to drive over the boardwalk, so don't do that. That'll get you right into Seaside Heights. Plenty of parking. You got the private lots. You got the municipal parking spots. You got a lot of the free spots. I'm looking at free spots right now. I'm in the garage. I'm doing the shows live here in Seaside Heights on Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 12. The reason is I want to make sure you know what the weather is. Yesterday was a great example of why you really can't pay attention to the weather people anymore. I was going to go up on the boardwalk, but they were calling for rain at 11 o'clock, 51% chance yesterday. So I said, I'll just do it in the garage. Around 10 o'clock, I'm looking outside. I said, don't look like rain coming here today, but they already called it, so I'm going to do it in the garage. Then they were saying 51% chance at 3 p.m. There was no rain at all yesterday. And what happened, you're thinking of taking a ride down here for the day, and you get a weather report saying, it's going to rain. You're not coming down. And the weather is wrong. It's usually wrong down here at least half the time. And you lose your whole your weekend, your whole plan. You say, I'll stay in Jersey City or Hoboken or what have you. And if only find out it didn't rain. So that's one of the reasons we're doing this. This is really a test for next year, what we're doing. I'll broadcast all through September. You got a lot of events coming up. For Labor Day, it's the official end of summer. But in Seaside Heights, there are a lot of events going all through September, right into the big finale here, what is the Columbus Day Festival. So I'll be broadcasting Fridays and Saturdays, and I'll be up on the boardwalk. I'll bring the mayor, because one of the things we want to do is we want to have the Shore Show Seaside Heights edition as part of Seaside Heights. We'll be on a website. I've got this system down here, the radio setup, that we'll be using in our high school programs. I'll get into that later. I'm teaching high school kids and college kids studio production, radio production, as simple as I can make it. You got the laptop computers, you got the audio mixers, the mics. I'll set it up. You can have at least a 3-mic setup. So I don't have to do all the shows, but we need to find a spot down here where we can leave the set. Now, I don't mean my garage or my daughter's garage here. It's not bad, but, I'm looking at ladders and old props from some of my old shows of the old days and, saw horses and, oil for the cars and all that stuff. It doesn't scream, studio here. You know what I mean? So, we want to find a spot down here. And there's other shows we're working on for Tom's River, Seaside Heights area. I'd like to do a medical call-in show. We're capable of that. But when you have a call-in show, now you need somebody to screen, so now it becomes like a two-handed show. Right now, we're a one-handed show, and anybody can come in here and do this show. We got it very simple. Like I said, I'm running it solo. It is simple to do. So that's the game plan here. But right now, the weather is fine. Yeah, you're going to have good weather all through the week. I don't think it starts raining again until Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, and we're all back to work by then, so who cares? The weekend looks pretty good, but coming for next weekend. Before the kids bought a house, they got an Airbnb house that they rent. They Airbnb the first floor, and the family utilizes the top floor. We used to stay at the Belmont or the Aztec. Belmont's gone now. It's being redeveloped. The Aztec Resort is right there on the boardwalk. And we would come down the end of August, and it's September, which is the best time, in my opinion, best time to come down here. Everything is still open. It's less crowded. All the kids are back in school. You got the run of the boardwalk and the beach. It's up to you. The beach is free around that time, so yeah, you're in good shape. So if you have time, you still got vacation time, take it in September. Come on down to Seaside Heights. You come down for an overnight weekend, 3 days for the week. You got, like I said, you got the big Columbus Day Festival coming up. You want to book some rooms for that now. For that matter, my kids, they made the Airbnb rental a minimum 3-night stay instead of the usual 5-night stay. But Seaside Heights fits into anyone's budget. You want to come down for a day, you can swing it. Weekend, you can swing it. You got to put some strategy in it. If you're going to be here for 3 days or a week, you're going to do that. Then you want to get an efficiency at one of the motels, or you get an Airbnb rental like my kids have here. It's an honest apartment, 2 bathrooms, kitchen, dining area, bedrooms, TV room, all that stuff. So it's an honest apartment. It would be an apartment in Jersey City, an apartment in Seaside Heights. There's no bait and switch here. You come down, you unload all your stuff, then you go out to the shop right on Fisher or the Stop and Shop. Well, hold on, the Stop and Shop. They were selling expired meat. You may want to give Stop and Shop a little time to get your rack back together. But go to the shop right on Fisher. You got the Walmart on Route 37. That's the Appalachian Trail down here, Route 37. Everything's on Route 37. You can go to Walmart. You got Aldi's there, Fisher Boulevard, right off Route 37. You have the ShopRite. You want to get your lottery tickets? You got the cigar store. My buddy runs the cigar store there. Plays all my lottery for me. Just got himself a brand new car yesterday. He had this beat up Toyota for the longest that I've known him. Since they took over opened the cigar store. It's all cigars and hookers and all tobacco products in there. And it's like a 7-Eleven with a lot of tobacco products and CBDs, all that stuff. But you got the milk and soda and chips and coffee and papers and all that also. He had this beat up Toyota. You couldn't miss this beat up Toyota, but it got him to work every day. So good. It's a good daily beater he was driving. I pulled in yesterday to get my lottery tickets. I walk in and say hello, and I look at him and said, "Where's your car?" I didn't see it outside. He goes, "I got a new one." He got a RAV4, brand new. So he's doing well in the store. They also sell live bait. That's what I was kidding about. There's good money in that live bait you're selling here. Like I said, they sell everything in the cigar store. Nice car, RAV4, hybrid. Wish him luck with it. Yeah, he's taking care of this one, and it's a really nice car. So I wish him well with it. But yeah, you get your lottery there. If you're into all the tobacco products, hookers, and all that other stuff, you need to grab some milk or whatever you forgot. The convenience store is there. It's open to 12. The cigar store. It's also a convenience store, and you got everything on Route 37. You got the Wendy's, you got McDonald's, you got Burger King. You got my favorite place, Fortune Buffet, right off St. Catherine's Boulevard on Route 37. Again, you don't have to go too far off Route 37 to find anything. You go down to St. Catherine's Boulevard, you take the jug handle, cross over 37, make a right into the first driveway. You go down, you'll see Fortune Buffet. Or you can eat for $16 and $3 for your soda. And after that, all the sodas or drinks are free. It's got 8 or 10 buffet stations. You got everything from salads to entrees to soup to egg rolls to pizza to French fries to chicken and broccoli, chicken teriyaki, just pepper steak, all this stuff. There's stuff for kids. There's stuff for adults. There's food for everyone and plenty of it. Plus, you got the sushi bar. You got the hibachi over there. And you got the ice cream station. You got dessert stations. And again, all this good food for $16. You cannot beat that. Yeah, I'm surprised people don't have parties in there every time. You have a birthday party, and they play the birthday music if you have them there. I would have birthday parties all the time in that place. So for $16 a head, where are you going to go to get everything from literally soup to nuts and ice cream included for $16? So that's my favorite place down here. And you got some other good places. You got the diners. You got Tom's River Diner. You got a Four Seasons Diner. You got the new Gal that used to be the Crystal Diner. You got a lot of diners. So if you're coming down here, you put in a food order. Yeah, you want to enjoy the food on the boardwalk, too. You want to go to the Beachcomber for the pizza, Midway Steakhouse, Steaks Unlimited, all that. But you don't want a constant diet of it. First off, it's probably not healthy. Well, I know it's not healthy, but it tastes good. But, it gets expensive. So you can have, like, lunch on the boardwalk. You can go back to your room. You can have your breakfast and your dinner there. There is a way that you can stretch your dollar in Seaside Heights. You can spend as much as you want or as little as you want and still have a good time here. All right, listen, we're going to break for commercial. You're listening to The Shore Show, Seaside Heights Edition. I'm Pat O'Meara. You're on GGR. I'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
All right, I'm back. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition, here live in Seaside Heights, live from the garage. I could have went up on a boardwalk. Then I had to wrap everything up. Had some accounting issues I had to take care of this morning. Yep. Hudson Media Group, this is our main company that produces television and radio shows. People paying the bills, sponsors, they screw up the whole bill paying. You're writing a check, just write it right. And it was confusing the hell out of me this morning, so I had to figure out how they screwed this up. So I got that done. Rode by the boardwalk, and I said, yeah, the boardwalk's good, looks good. It's kind of packed up there. And I said, my knees are bothering me. Just stay in the garage for another day. So here I am in the garage. I don't want it. I don't want it at all. Now, again, from Seaside Heights, you know what you're coming into right now? You're coming into a big fishing and crabbing season, which you can also do here in Seaside Heights. You get your reel and your rod. Jersey City guy saying that, reel and a rod. We had places in Jersey City where you get bait. It used to be two places, the Holly Rod on Kennedy Boulevard. And the other guy, was he off South Street, was it? Long time. He's gone now. He's somewhere off South Street. And you get your bait there. You would think you have a bait shop in Jersey City, but the guy was there. Both of those places were there for a long, long time. But you got the big crabbing season is coming up. You go right over to Sunset Beach. People forget there's Sunset Beach here in Seaside Heights. That's part of Barnegat Bay. It's a nice beach. Seaside Heights always does a good job over there. And you can do your crabbing over there. You can do some fishing. Same thing, you can fish in the ocean here. It's limited to your imagination here in Seaside Heights. But you can do your crabbing. Monday night in Seaside on the 1st, Labor Day, they have Broadway Meets the Beach at 6 o'clock. They'll be on the Franklin Street stage. Various performers from the Broadway shows will be here, and they'll be doing their songs and their dances here and parts of the plays that are in. So if you have time, and on Monday, if you're not here already, come on down. Get up by the Franklin Street stage. Bring a beach chair or something with you, and sit there and enjoy the performance. They do about 3 or 4 of these a year. That's one of the things we're also talking about doing with the radio here. It's great that we do this on the boardwalk, and you can watch it. But if we broadcast it, more people can listen and hear it and say, next time I'm going to go on the boardwalk so I can see this. So that's kind of things we're working with the radio show here, Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. Might even change it to Seaside Heights Show for next year. This is all working towards next year. I'll probably do something live from the Columbus Day Festival. We might broadcast one of the nights live there. What I'm doing, for those who don't know, I teach high school and college kids studio production and radio production. We have a big video studio in North Bergen, New Jersey. We produce television shows there, news programs, talking politics programs, medical programs. I do the city show up there on television. We'll probably do a blended city show now between the radio and the TV. I'm trying to figure out where I can fit in my own studio between all the other production and the high school kids. we're putting them on radio. We're going to put these radio setups in the schools. So I only get the kids in the studio like twice a month for 4 or 5 hours. But I want these kids to be more involved in media. So the easiest thing for me to do is set up a small studio in the schools. And school space is very difficult to come by. I'd like to set up the radio setup and maybe one camera tripod with a very simple backdrop so they can, if they want to do televised podcasts or talking head shows. But I want these kids to get as much experience as possible in media and learn this equipment, learn the pacing, learn how to produce, learn how to engineer. This year we graduated our first group. I started 2 years ago with juniors and then seniors. And we got quite a few kids that got scholarships. And I take a little credit because the studio played a part in that. One big part we played in one kid getting a scholarship. Where I made a few phone calls on that one. I do know a few people. The kids got full scholarships. And we were part of that. And the kids were really smart kids. And, yeah, you can see that when you first start. Yeah, you get a lot of kids in the program, and a lot of kids just want to get out of school. And a lot of kids this is not what they want to do. And I say that right off the bat when I'm addressing, if this isn't what you're interested in doing, don't do it. But what you're learning here, especially with the video and the radio production, maybe you're not going to be in front of a mic. There's a lot of jobs behind the mic and behind the camera. Only so many in front of the camera or in front of the mic, a lot of them behind there. But you can take this experience that we're teaching you and say you go into real estate. Well, you can do your own real estate postings. You're going to learn how to edit video. You're going to learn how to shoot. You're going to learn how to frame shots with the camera. For that matter, we got all new cameras in the studio now. We went to 4K. That's what we do on hiatus. We upgrade the studio every year. This year, we're doing a lot of upgrading. We got the 4K cameras. We got a control van that the kids will be using. They're going to call football games, baseball games, events, groundbreakings, that sort of thing. And the van will be capable of television and radio broadcast live from anywhere. But I got these transmitters that we're putting on our cameras that can transmit a video signal from about 450 yards away from the control van. Now, my kids can now go out with the cameras, not worried about being tethered by cords anymore, and go for blocks and still get quality signal back to our video mixers. So we're making a lot of strides, and these are the things that the kids are learning. We try to get the best possible equipment with the little bit of money we have. We have close to no budget, but we get it done. And an example of that was these kids getting a scholarship. So we did a good job, and hopefully this year we do an even better job. And with the college kids coming in, we're a little limited on what I can do with high school kids, taking them out on the road on location. We got to get the chaperone. We got a school bus. It really becomes like a logistics mission, getting these kids moved because of their age. But bringing in college kids, NJCU. In fact, I got 2 kids that came in on their own from Rutgers. They want to be part of the program. 2 juniors. We got, I think, Hudson County Community Colleges coming in. So those kids, I'm going to send out on the road. They'll do all the B-roll footage, that sort of stuff for the high school kids. Everything is focused on the high school kids. The college kids will back up the high school. That the high school programming will be the programming that the college kids work on. And if they got some separate projects they want to do, the studio's there. Studio's there 7 days a week, and the college kids can come in and do whatever projects they want. Again, they all have to learn the equipment. That's the first thing I teach. You learn the equipment. You bury yourself in the manuals. You go on Google, and you read everything about the switches and the new cameras. Please, by the way, do a lot of work on the new cameras because we can use some instruction on that. What I'm standing on is Canon cameras. I've been standing with Canon cameras for the last 20 years. First off, it was the first camera I bought from one of my camera guys, Canon GL1. Good camera. It was like a football. You could kick this thing around, it would still work. And 2, Canon was based in New Jersey. They had a repair center in New Jersey down by Exit 7 back then. And if you had a problem with your camera, you could ride down there and beg them to fix it. And just beg them, can I wait here and you fix my camera for me? Now they got a place in Lyndhurst, which is really close to the shop, so it even works out better than I'm standing in Canon camera. We went from the GL1 cameras to the XL2s. Great camera, the XL2. As good as the preceding cameras were, the succeeding cameras, the XL2 is still my favorite camera. It was a great camera, great zoom. It looked like a studio camera. Then we went from the XL2s, we took a technology leap to the XF300. And I mean, that was like learning a new language because I try to keep the lineage between the cameras as close as possible so you're not going through a whole learning curve. We went through a whole learning curve with the XF300. For that matter, a lot of people didn't even want to learn because it was so difficult to learn from going from the XL2s. And then we went from the XF300 to the 305. Pretty simple move there. There wasn't a lot to learn. And when I was researching the cameras we're working now, the XF605s, first thing I'm looking for is the lineage. I want to make sure at least most of this camera is similar to the cameras we're moving on from. And it was. So we went with the XF605. Nice camera, 4K, got a lot of capabilities, got the log capabilities. So we need to learn that. That's what we'll be working on in the next week or so before the kids come in. The kids go back to school Thursday, so we give the kids another week or two. I'll address the schools, con these kids into joining the program, juniors and seniors. Somehow we always seem to sneak in a couple of sophomores, and we'll start our program again. And we'll start. I got some new programs I'd like to bring forward. We'll see what these kids are capable of and what kind of time we can get. And hopefully, we're talking to Hoboken High School. We're talking to Secaucus High School. The problem isn't the high school. It's getting the kids moved to the studios. They got to come by bus. I did it during the year. I said, I just need 4 or 5 of these kids going to work on a project. It was a groundbreaking. I'll pick them up in my car. I can't do that. You got to have the certain insurance. So I looked, and certain insurance is really certainly expensive insurance. So the move the high school kids becomes really a job. You got chaperones, you got school buses. So we're working on that. I'm going to may have to up the insurance. I'm going to talk to the schools, maybe give me a waiver on the insurance. They can cover the control band, but that's all the things we're working on. But the sole purpose is getting these kids experience in studio and radio production. So when they graduate, if they decide to continue on with their education, they got a good shot at scholarships. Between their grades and their participation and the networking, because there's all sorts of political figures in the studios. And a lot of these political figures are politically involved with the colleges. So if you need a little emphasis on getting a transcript read for a scholarship, you got some people you can talk to. If not, if they don't elect to go to school, there are major motion picture studios operating now in New Jersey or under construction. In Jersey City, we got Cineles, where my buddy Dan is running that there. Huge motion picture studio. These kids will have the experience that they can get some work with Dan over there at Cineles. You got Lionsgate under construction in Newark for a major motion picture studio. Bayonne, you got 1888 Studios. That's under construction. And in Monmouth County here, you got a huge Netflix facility under construction. And my buddy Vin Copel, who's the state senator, he's got connections with the Netflix people. So as my kids are graduating, I can assist because I'm developing relationships with these motion picture studios. Some of them already have because of political connection. I can help these kids get employment there, and they will have the experience to get their foot in the door. They're not just coming out of school. So I had this kid, friend of mine's son came in this week, a smart kid, went to school, he wants to get in radio. And he wants, FAN or ESPN or Town Square Media, that sort of thing. But there are thousands of kids looking for the same kind of opportunity. And they may get stuck interning. I told the kid, you go with me, you do a couple years with me, you'll have all the experience you need that when you send a resume, and I'll send a cover letter with you to these media outfits, they're going to pay attention because you've done this. He will come in here, I basically have this kid run the radio portion. And when he does 2 years after that, 2 years with me, he puts that on his resume. He has engineered shows, he's produced shows, he's hosted shows, he's booked guests, he's screened the guests, he's done all that. Plus, like I told him, avail yourself to everything else in the studio, the video portion, because all that will come in handy too. But the whole purpose of the studio, and I'm probably going to make a complete commitment to teaching. I'm kicking around, probably make a complete commitment to teaching in the next week or two, and that's where the studio's focus will be completely on teaching. I go back to when I started back in the 90s in radio where stations would literally slam a door in my face. I was no experience. I just had a good voice. For that matter, that voice actually got me started. Guy Danny Stiles. My kids were listening to this professional radio show, and one day the show was no longer there, which happens a lot in radio. And I got in touch with WEVD. That's where the show was. And this guy Danny Stiles, who I didn't know at that time was a radio icon. I talked to him. And he started talking to me about doing the show. Why don't you take over the show? You got the voice for radio. I have the face for radio also. I said, I don't know. He goes, well, take a shot. I'll take it. So I brought my nephew and my daughter. They were big wrestling fans. I watched it, but I didn't pay that much attention. And we did a show where I was kind of like the referee in there. And we took calls, and we wound up doing Wrestling Tonight for a lot of years. Not on WEBD. It was too expensive. That was like $1,000 an hour. We went to NJR 1430, and we did the show there for years. Then we went to JDM 1530, and we did the show there for a few years. Problem was we couldn't sell the show. The other problem is my daughter and my nephew were going off to college now. They were becoming adults, so they didn't have time for the show. And I went from Wrestling Tonight to the Jersey City Talking Show. But in between, I was trying to get into a studio without having to pay for it. It didn't work. Nobody wanted to know. Nobody wanted to talk to me. So what I started doing, I went to NJR, and I bought the time like I did with the wrestling show, and I would start driving trucks at night, delivering trailers into New York City for Bed Bath & Beyond to pay for that show. And that's how I started back in the 90s in radio. And it worked out, but I remember how nobody wanted to give anybody a chance. And there's even less radio opportunities now than there were back then. But at least fortunately, with digital, you can create some opportunities. So that's why I want to help these kids. It's their dreams to be in the media. You want to be in TV, you want to be in radio or production. I'll give the kids that opportunity. And we've been doing that with the studio in North Bergen and now with the radio here. So hopefully, I'd even like to try to do something here in Ocean County with the VOTEC down here or Ocean County Community College. But it's a lot of political crap you got to go through. But right now, we're going to break for commercial. You'll listen to the Shore Show Radio. I'll come back. I'll give you some updates on Seaside Heights and what's going on. You'll listen to Shore Show Radio here on GGR. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and launch inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington, Visit us on the net.
We're back. You're listening to the Shore Show Radio here, Seaside Heights edition on GGR. I'm Pat O'Melia. Little self-promotion here. Download the Live 365 app. If you're listening right now, you've already done that. Tell your friends, tell your mom's friends, tell your dad's friends, tell your buddies, tell your friends at school. Download the Live 365 app. Then you got GGR there. You can listen to all my programming, and there's a ton of other stuff on Live 365. Music, podcasts, all that sort of stuff. And for that matter, it's available on all your smart speakers. Like my buddy over here, Alexa. You can listen to the show on Alexa. You can listen in your car. For that matter, yesterday, I had a radio installed in our control van. You can't have a control van without a radio and Bluetooth in it. And Auto Elegance in Toms River on Fisher Boulevard did the install for me. Did a really nice job. Got it really quick. I had it all laid out. Everything was all set. I pulled the van in there. I was in and out of there in a half hour. Radio installed. I got to learn, of course. It's got to be these radios from Star Trek. Ben never got to learn his technology in the studio. Now I got to learn his technology in the van. So I'm going to, after the show, I'm going to sit there and read the manual so I can figure out how to work this radio. I got it working with the Bluetooth. I was listening to Alexa and all the music I have on my Alexa app. Now Alexa just heard me. Alexa, stop. So I got that working. So the radio's working good, very loud. So Auto Elegance, Fisher Boulevard there in Seaside Heights, right off Route 37. Everything's right off Route 37 in Toms River. Toms River is like a little Jersey City. It's amazing how similarities there are between the two. If you're looking for, there's nice rims, you want good audio, auto starts, everything electronic in the cars, Auto Elegance here in Toms River, right outside of Seaside Heights on Route 37. They do a lot of work that upgrade the cars, like the car shows you see. They do the electronics, the cool tires and rims. They do all that there. So Auto Elegance, Fisher Boulevard, Toms River. They put a nice radio in for me. Getting back to Seaside Heights, you got, like I said, Monday, you have the Broadway on the beach. Good event. You'll see a lot of celebrities there from Broadway. They'll be doing their singing and dancing and parts for their plays. Then next week on Saturday you have Wine on the Beach in Seaside Heights. Best thing to do is go to exit82.com and you can see all the upcoming events. But you got the Wine on the Beach, so you get on the beach and you're sitting there tasting all these wines. I know there's some sort of a fee for it, $10, $15, something like that, and you can have a good time. And the boardwalk is completely open and the beach is completely open. And you got good enough weather, you can go swimming. And fortunately, the hurricane is gone, so we don't have to deal with the rip currents right now. But as I say that, look at the flags. Pay attention to the flags. If the flag is red, don't go in water. Pay attention to the lifeguards. But you got a lot of events coming up in September, right into the big Columbus Day Festival here in Seaside Heights, which starts on the Friday before Columbus Day, right on Grant Avenue. It starts right, really, at the boardwalk. The boardwalk, again, is open through the Columbus Day holiday. Everything, all the rides are open, all the stands are open, all the food places are open. Everything is open. They're in good shape there. And then you got like 4 huge blocks of Italian festival. It goes from the boardwalk all the way down to Central Avenue. You got singers, you got dances, you got food, then you got more food, and then you got even more food, all these Italian specialties. Yeah, you got the kettle cooked corn, corn on a cob, all these trucks, all the Mexican trucks, they got all sorts of food. Predominantly Italian, but they got food for everybody's taste there. You got the New Jersey Lottery. They'll be giving out their swag as they do every year. And this goes on, I think it starts at 12 noon to 12 midnight. Hopefully the weather is good. It's a great festival. You got the retail aspect where you can buy shirts and all sorts of souvenirs and kitchen appliances. There's always somebody selling showers there. I guess people are buying showers, shower installs in your house, because that guy is always there selling it. So I guess somebody's buying them. Shower installs. That guy is there. There's all sorts of vendors there. Retail. Yeah, but the big thing is the food, the singers, the dances. My mother-in-law is alive, rest her soul. She loved the Columbus Day Festival. She would sit there in that walker chair of hers and sit there for hours and watch the singers and the dancers. And they bring these Italian dancers over, too. I don't know how much time I want to tell the story, but during the Columbus Day Festival, we'd stay at the Aztec Resort before the kids bought the house down here. And without fail, the Italian dancers would have the room above me. And they would practice. Why are they such good dancers? Because they practice a lot. And they would be practicing right above me, hours upon hours. For the 3 days, they would practice their music and dance steps up there. But they did a great job, and they're staples of the Italian festival. They get these guys over from Italy for the 3 days. I assume they got visas and they're legal immigration over here. But they do a good job. So put it on your calendar, Columbus Day. Check your Airbnbs. For that matter, let me give you my kids' Airbnb. They'll have this as a 3-day minimum rental, which is a good deal down here. Where are the kids here? Hold on, let me get them out. I will give you their kids' Airbnb. You go to Airbnb if you're interested in renting my daughter's apartment here in Seaside Heights for Columbus Day, or through the month of September. You go to Airbnb, you put in 414-53636. That is, put in 414-53636. I'll say it a third time. 414-53636. You can book for the Columbus Day holiday, or you can book for September. You can book away. Don't stop booking. Keep booking. You can book for next year. Do what you want. I'm drinking Propel water. I drink a lot of Gatorade. It's starting to sound like Bill Spady here. I'm getting off at the topics of news. I drink a lot of Gatorade Zero. The lime one. That's the best one, the green one. The orange is okay, but the green one's the best. And lately, if you bought 3 of the 8-packs of the Gatorade, you got an 8-pack of Propel water. And it's flavored water with some vitamins in here, and it's made by Gatorade. Not too bad. I like Gatorade better, but it's free, so it's not bad. I'm sitting right next to a refrigerator. You might even be able to hear the refrigerator behind me. And this refrigerator, long time. This was my old refrigerator from many, many years ago. They don't make refrigerators like this anymore. This thing will run forever. Let's talk about some news. What do you think about that? Let's talk about some, before I beat up Staples. No, let's go beat up Staples first. Then we'll get in the news. For the longest time, during hiatus, we upgrade everything. I was saying before, we got new cameras coming in. We got all sorts of new electrical equipment, mixers, new microphones. We got all this stuff coming in for the project, the program with the high school kids. And at the same time, I'm trying to streamline the studio. I'm getting rid of old papers. Yeah, I had my filing cabinets had paperwork in there from like 2003. So I started dumping these files. I'm going through them. And after a while, you realize, I haven't looked at these files in 15 years. I guess I can get rid of it. So I'm throwing that. So I got a pretty heavy-duty plastic bag, like a 55-gallon plastic bag type of construction plastic bag with a lot of paper in there. A lot of old papers, invoices, that sort of thing. Got rid of some old bank statements. And Staples, that's 6 months ago I was there, and I seen the shredder, and you put the old paperwork in there and shreds it up, and you pay by the pound. So I haven't put a matter. I have a lot of paper in this big plastic bag, and I mentioned to my daughter Gina that I'm going to take this paperwork I got, and I'll bring it to Staples. And my daughter's like, "What do you mean? What do they do with Staples?" So, well, they shred it for you. You pay by the pound. Oh, Gina, that's a great idea. So next time I see Gina, I'm dropping stuff over at the house. She goes, "Oh, wait a minute, Dad." She comes out. She got these 2 huge white plastic bags. So pop your trunk. So what's in it? I do like donations for like the clothing. And no, which was a big with my the girls in my production classes. My wife was getting rid of clothes. Gina was getting rid of clothes. Let's bring them into the studio and say, "Girls, there's some clothes over there." It was like locusts. I thought it was clothes. No, it's shredding. Then I got these 3 big bags of shredding. So I finally get, they're headed in the garage. So I finally put all this in the van because I was taking the van to get the radio done yesterday at Auto Elegance. So let me throw the bags in the back of the van. It's a Ford Transit Connect, a small industrial minivan is really what it is. So we get the radio done. Then from there, we go over to Staples, and they moved the shredder. At first I didn't think they were doing the shredder, but I'm on the line, so let me find out what happens. Then, I had to get a fire barrel, maybe. Imagine that, see that, a fire barrel. And I'm standing in line, and I look over, and there's a sign, let us do the shredding for you. I say, they still do the shredding. So they're just going to weigh it, and they're going to shred it. So I go over to the counter, and the woman says, all right, we weigh it, put it on a scale. Enough shredding that it came out to $63 in shredding. I think it was like $1.40 a pound. It came out to $63. It said to go over there. And again, the sign said, let us do the shredding for you. So I go over there. They're not doing the shredding for you. There's a plastic garbage can that's not even shredding it. You're just sticking this paperwork in what is essentially a mail slot. And there's a padlock on it. And it's Iron Mountain that does the shredding for them. And I see the Iron Mountain trucks. And I guess they come by and they pick up this plastic garbage can, this big garbage can, and they throw it in the back and they shred it, hopefully, without looking at everything. And I have 3 huge plastic bags. And mine is huge. It's got like a construction plastic bag. It's a plastic bag that can go into a 55-gallon drum. And Gina's got these 2 big white plastic bags. And all I got is literally a mail slot that you would put envelopes in. I'm going to be here for a long time. And there's a padlock on it. So I look over to these people and said, can you open this padlock here so I can just dump this in? Because I know I'm just dumping it into a garbage can. It's not shredding like it did before. Oh, no, we don't have access to that. That's a special key. You don't have a key to a garbage can? I said, the sign said you're going to do this for me. No, you do it yourself. You want to talk about the most unenthusiastic people that you've ever met was this group of people at the Staples, again on Route 37, right off of 166 there. Terrible. And you wonder why Staples are closing left and right, especially up our way in North Jersey. And the one up on Columbia Park is gone. The one at the Walmart complex in North Bergen is gone. And I wonder why. Everything that they were complete bait and switch. They're not shredding it for you. And it took us because I got literally a mail slot that I got to stuff 3 huge plastic bags. Mine was probably equivalent of 2 huge plastic bags. We were there for a good long time sliding this in. It was so much that the garbage can's getting full. It's just a garbage can with a lid with a padlock on and a mail slot. Customer service sucked. Bait and switch. They let us do the shredding for you. They're not doing anything. I'm sticking this garbage into a garbage can through a mail slot, which get me mad. And what I do, and I'm very good at it, I'm very good at what I do, consumer issues. For that matter, if you have a consumer issue or municipal issue, I'm like batting almost 1,000 on that. Very seldom do I lose the battle, whether it's consumer issues with automobiles, people at Mavis Tire on Route 37 has tangled with me before. Many automotive people have tangled with me before. I just popped in my head of something I haven't thought about in a long time. This woman in Jersey City, Chevrolet on Communicore Avenue, she bought a Chevy that the roof, convertible, but the roof went into the trunk. Oh, this car leaked constantly, and it was all lemon. And they kept trying to fix it. This thing was never right. Every time it rained, this car was soaked. Your interior is soaked. It's going into the frame. You're going to have rust problems. They were fighting her tooth and nail. She was a friend of my camera guy, so I got involved. We eventually got her money back on his car after a year. Because I was beating the hell out of these people on TV. I was doing everything I could on television-wise and connection-wise. Have some people visit the inspectors could visit your facility, like spirits, like it's like a Christmas story. You get visited by 3 spirits, but there's more spirits I could send if necessary. Somebody once said in Jersey City I could close the church for 5 days. They eventually relented and took care of this woman's car. That was one of the big ones. I had a woman one time. They were building a condominium complex on Liberty Avenue, New Jersey City. And as this complex grew, and when it was 10 stories, her house was being destroyed. I mean, it was being encased in concrete. I mean, the window air conditioners encased in concrete. Her roof, her backyard, all this was encased in concrete. And she was getting nowhere with this bill. They were just paying no mind to her. So there's a Polish woman, Helena. She got in touch with me. This is when I really first started in radio with the Jersey City show. And I took on the developer, and he was just a miserable person. He had no respect for this woman's home. So it really, and I was full of full of vinegar back then. I'd say the other thing, too. Brett Schindler was the mayor, and I'm trying to work with the city to put some heat on these guys. And we had an election, and Mayor Glenn D. Cunningham was elected. And this woman was a barmaid, so I brought everybody down to the bar where she was barmaid. Jerry Healy, who was a councilor at large, Glenn Cunningham, were all in his bar. And they're telling the story, and they're meeting the person. And I said, listen, we got to do all we can to get this developer to work with her and make her home right again. And Glenn said, yeah, we'll do whatever he can. I said, Pat, do whatever you need to do. Then he comes over and grabs me. Don't break the law. I said, can I bend it a little? You can bend it a little, but don't break the law. Now I had the power of the mayor behind me. First thing I did was pull their building permits. This guy, that morning they went to work, and they're like, nobody can work. And I'm standing there at a white Volkswagen back then. I'm standing leaning against the car, and they're like, what's going on? That's screaming. And the guy looks over, and he sees me standing there, and just smiling and waving at him. And I pointed to the woman's house. He got the message. They eventually spent about a couple of weeks cleaning this woman's house, getting all the concrete off, buying a new air conditioners, getting all the crap out of the backyard, fixing the roof, fixing the siding on a home. And it was so despicable what these people did. And they gave her a cash settlement also. She was very happy at the end. That was one of my real first accomplishments with the radio show and consumer issues, municipal issues, that sort of thing. But I'll never forget, we pulled that guy's. I'm leaning against the Volkswagen, and they're screaming and yelling. They got a cruise there, and the guy's losing money. Then he just happened to glance over and sees me leaning against the Volkswagen. Hello, buddy. Pointed to the woman's house. You got the message. But you ever have an issue with a situation like that, consumer, municipal, county issue, you can reach out for us on our Twitter at Hudson Media Group. You can DM me right there and tell me what the problem is, or you can email me at jctalking2000@yahoo. That's jctalking2000@yahoo. I'll be happy to help you. All right, we're going to break for commercial. Then we'll actually talk about some news items, things in the news, and try to inform and entertain you. You're listening to the Shore Show Radio, Seaside Heights edition. I'm Pat O'Melia here on GGR. We'll be right back.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its two newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and launch inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
All right, we're back. You listen to the Shore Show Radio, Seaside Heights edition here on GGR. I'm Pat O'Melia, live in Seaside Heights. That was just a call from my computer guy. Computer Hospital in Toms River on Fisher Boulevard, 1177 Fisher Boulevard. Again, during hiatus, we tried to upgrade everything, and I wanted to upgrade my computer in North Bergen and my computer in Toms River. So we replaced. Both of them had almost the same problem. The hard drives crashed on both of them. They were functioning, but they were going really slow and were making some weird sounds. So a while back when we had the studio in Seaside Heights here, my computer was giving me a problem, and I punched it. So we had to get a new screen put on. So the computer hospital guy did it down here in Townsburg and did a good job. So when I was upgrading the computers, I brought him back down to this guy. He's the guy I know does good work. Replaced the hard drive in both of them. And odd that both of them had the same problem. And one was a Lenovo, the other was a Dell. And you wouldn't think about it, but the hard drives had moving parts in it. I thought it was all solid state. Not the case. There's like a moving disk in there. So both of those moved on up. So we had to put a new hard drive in and clone the hard drive, so you got all your information there. So Computer Hospital, 1177 Fisher Boulevard in Toms River. After the show, I will take a ride over there and pick up my computer and hook that back up and make that accounting problem I have this morning that much easier. I was doing all that on my smartphone. Not the way to do it. So let's talk about some news. What's going on in the world? We talked about not complete nonsense. You want to come to Seaside Heights, you want to know about the weather. Weather is really good. It is 67 degrees in Seaside Heights right now. Air quality is great. The sky is blue. People are walking there. Yeah, I tell you what, the beach is going to be a busy day. I see people walking by with their beach chairs. Everybody, I tell you, people are geared for this. They got these collapsible carts. You see a lot of that. They're pulling this collapsible cart with the beach chairs in there and their coolers and all. They are strategizing. Like I said, when you're coming down to Seaside, you want to spend a couple of days here. You want to strategize. You want to figure where you're going to go, how you're going to do it. You get an efficiency at the motel. You get an apartment rental like here. You go get a food order in there, and you got everything on the boardwalk. But there's other things you can do. You got a planetarium down here in Toms River. You got the Jersey Blue Claws. You can catch a baseball game. You got the big cinema on Route 37. So if it's a rainy day, you can go right up to Route 37 to the movies, where the movie's in the same place that the Fortune Buffet is. You can take in a movie, go to Fortune Buffet after that, have a nice all-you-can-eat for $16. From, like I said, from salads to ice cream and everything in between, from entrees to pizza to sushi to hibachi. Serve yourself. Good service. They completely clear the table for you every time you're done with a plate. Amy and her gang of waitresses take it off your table. They refill your soda, and you only pay for one soda. You can drink a zillion sodas after that. You're only paying for one. Where are we going there? HUD, Housing Authority for the federal government, is cracking down on illegal immigrants in HUD housing. I didn't know that was going on. Now, HUD housing, you would think, since it's completely paid by the federal government there, and you have a lot of HUD housing in all the municipalities, that you wouldn't have illegal immigrants in there, because I know I have veterans who are looking for housing. I got seniors that are looking for housing. There goes another cart. This guy's got a lot of beach chairs on that cart rolling by here. You would think you would have to be a citizen for that. But obviously no. So HUD is going to crack down on that starting next week. They want paperwork from all the municipalities. And you're going to have some of these municipalities saying, we're not giving you that information. You're not going to get any funding for your housing authorities. And then you got a problem. So I'm sure they're going to give up that paperwork. But, really, we have seniors who are looking for housing. We have veterans who are looking for housing. We have people who are homeless. And, they're working homeless. That's an amazing problem. But I was listening to NJ 101.5, I guess a week or so ago. Trevor Lease was hosting. And a guy called in. He was talking about homeless situations in Toms River. And there's an issue there. And that matter, there's an issue with the Soul Kitchen in the library. Maybe we get into that later on. This person, they were paying $1,800 a month for an apartment in Toms River. And the property owner wanted to move their sons in, so you're out. The kids are moving in. And they couldn't find another place for himself, his wife. His son had some sort of physical disability, and they had a dog. And they couldn't find one place that could accommodate all four. You couldn't have no kids, or you're going to have a dog, whatever the case was. So they got one where the wife is living there, and the son and the dog and the husband are living out of a car in the Wawa, one of the Wawas on Route 37. The guy's working. He can afford $1,800 a month, but they couldn't find a place to live for $1,800 a month. And then you find out that HUD, municipalities have illegal immigrants in units that should be for the working homeless here. I didn't even know that was a term, but obviously there is one now. Veterans. I got homeless veterans out there that can use that house. I have seniors out there. I have single mothers out there. I have people at low income that can use that housing. Americans. Now, I'm not against, don't get me wrong, I'm not against immigration. And I said this before. There's no will to change that. Whether the Democrats are in control of everything, where we've had situations where the Democrats had the presidency, they had the Congress, and they had the Senate. And they did not a thing about immigration. We have the same thing with Republicans. They control everything. Not a thing. You want to change immigration? Change it. But somebody has to have the will to do that, and we haven't had the will to do that in like 80 years. No matter what party's in complete control, for a limited amount of time they usually are in complete control. You got the midterms coming up. It'll be interesting to see if the Republicans can still control the Congress. That usually doesn't happen. The last time the presidency and the Senate and the Congress stayed together was right after 9/11, I think, 2002. Usually, you lose the Congress in the midterms. Again, I'm not against immigration if you do it the right way. You do it legally. What Biden did here, allowing like 20 million people, the equivalent of like 2.5 New Jerseys to come in, that's a problem. That's going to be a legitimate problem. We just can't absorb that many at one time. And we're not talking the cream of the crop here. They were just an arrest. I think I got notes on it here. I think it was in Chicago, where they arrested a guy, a 3-time deported pedophile, illegal immigrant, pedophile 3 times. He was deported, keeps coming back, and they discovered this guy living in a daycare center run by his wife. 3 times this guy was deported, convicted pedophile, living in a daycare center run by his wife. When these people cross over, we're not getting the people who are trying to want to assimilate themselves to the American dream. A lot of these guys are criminals. You got to get them before they get you, or your mother, or your wife, or your daughter. These are the things you have to be careful about here. And that's why they just gave me another number. I know I read it in the Post or the Daily News that ICE, they've tracked down 23,000 children that's kind of crossed over. Unaccompanied children, 23,000 that we lost track of. How the hell can you lose track of 23,000 kids? But they got a handle on them, and they were talking about there's another 300,000. So this is what happened when they just kept crossing over. I don't know where these kids are. You don't know where these kids are. Nobody, obviously, the government doesn't know where these kids are. So we need to get a handle on that. I don't want to sound like I'm against immigration, but, we have laws on the books. You want to change them? Change the laws on the books. But until they're changed, you have to enforce them. We can't pick and choose what laws we're going to abide by and what ones we're not. But here we got the HUD, housing that Americans should be utilizing. Again, I got veterans, I got single mothers, I got low-income families, I got homeless vets, I got that working homeless. They should be first in line. Not illegal immigrants, I'm sorry. You want to immigrate here? Fine. Do it the legal way. I said last week, my cousin's son, who's a doctor, married a woman in Luxembourg, and she wants to immigrate to the United States, so she's going through the proper channels. For that matter, I got in touch with some of the congressmen that I know through the studio, try to help things along. It takes a while. Then I looked at Luxembourg, and I'm like, why the hell would you want to be here? Luxembourg, like a pretty nice place. If I'd go the other way. I'm Walter's son. I'm going to Luxembourg. Look like a nice joint. Look like a nice joint. Nice country. Oh, why would you want to come here? But getting back to immigration, we have to do that right. What the laws are the laws. And you want to change the law? Fine. Change the law. That's one of the questions we're going to come up with here in the election we got coming up for governor. It looks like Mikey Sherrill will continue the sanctuary state here in New Jersey. I don't know how that's going to work out because the federal government is really cracking down on sanctuary states and cities. I know I'm from Jersey City. We're a sanctuary city there. I know the federal government has sent letters to Jersey City's Mayor Phillip about what's going to happen if he continues to be a sanctuary city. Mikey Sherrill said she will continue to be a sanctuary city, as that was reported, I think, yesterday. You got Jack Citarelli, who's not going to be a sanctuary city. So these are the kind of things you're going to have to take all this into consideration to make an informed vote November the 4th. Is Mikey Sherrill or Jack Citarelli? We got to see how this works out. But I'm a mercenary. I'll vote Democrat. I'll vote Republican. I'll vote for the best candidate. Like I said, I voted for Reagan. I voted for Clinton. I think Clinton, for that matter, he was just seen with a defibrillator at an airport. I know he had a heart problem. I hope it isn't too serious a heart problem. I guess it is. You're going to walk around with a defibrillator. He may be the best president in my lifetime, Bill Clinton. I know he's had some issues there at the White House. But, so did JFK. So did FDR. So did Ike. So did Johnson. Those are the ones we just know about. I don't need saints at the White House. I need people that can lead. And it's always said everybody has a dark side. You keep the dark side to yourself. Don't let it get out in public. Don't break any laws. I don't care about your dark side. I need you to run the government. Now, Trump, Trump is well vetted. We know everything about Trump. Guy's married a few times. He had some issues there with some women. I don't care. As long as he doesn't break any laws, I don't care. As long as you run the country well. Like I said when he got elected, I'll ride with this guy for a year. Let me see what he accomplishes in a year. Then I'll look at it again. Right now, I need him to be successful so the country is successful. I need the economy back where it was. Back when he was the president the first time, I had money. Now I'm living hand to mouth here. I appreciate what he's doing on crime. I think what he's doing with the tariffs, and there's another curveball with the tariffs. I'm not a financial guy, but from what I can read and it's determined from what I read and see, the tariffs looks like it will be a win-win for the United States. We were always on the wrong end of the tariffs. And I remember when I worked for the Transamerica Corporation, my old boss, Ed Downowski, when we would be riding together going somewhere, we'd up and down the turnpike. I was stationed in Piscataway back then. I ran a shop down there. But I don't want to visit the old shop. I haven't been there in 40-some-odd years. I want to take a look at the old shop. I'm hoping to do that maybe next Thursday. Take a ride to my old shop. I'm going to visit some of the old shops in the past. But that's for another story after I do it. We would ride down the turnpike, and he would point to the containers. And there would be mountains of containers in storage. And he said, that's not a good sign. Not a good sign for the economy. When all those those containers are sitting here, that means we're importing. We're not exporting anything. And ever since that, every time I ride down the turnpike, which is often, I look for the mountains of storage containers. They're just sitting there waiting to be loaded. And it looks like the mountains are going down. You look at the traffic going to the ports, going into the ports, that's why we need to widen the turnpike, by the way. The traffic going into the ports is stifling. I mean, man, it's backed up all the time. I'm going to say just from that evidence, the tariffs are working well. But there was a court ruling. I got the number of notes here. Court ruled that Trump doesn't have the authority to impose tariffs. Now, from the legal scholars who do the Constitution and all these law people, said, well, if Trump is wrong on this, of course he's going to appeal it to the Supreme Court. That is, there are other avenues he can also do. There's so many other avenues, legal avenues available to him that he can do the tariff. One of the things we have to stop, the guy was elected to be the president. Again, like I said, let's ride with him for the year and see how this works out. But every time this guy makes some sort of move, somebody runs to this radical judge somewhere, and a judge, they always point, it was appointed by Obama, or it was appointed by Biden. You're a judge, you're supposed to be calling it down balls and strikes here, not the politics. We got a problem with the judicial system when the politics enters it. Then it can't be fair. Listen, I cover politics. I know how politics works. If it enters the legal system, you got a problem. There's a huge problem then. And it got some appointee who's I'm a Democrat all the way, and I hate Donald Trump and I hate the Republicans, and they rule against it. And then Trump should just go to the Superior Court all the time, the Supreme Court. Just go to the Supreme Court all the time. Say, just cut down. save everybody time and money. You go right to the end of it. They give me a decision on this. And then the courts have been agreeing with them because it's not that people say, well, the judges are siding with Trump because they're conservative judges. No, because a lot of these judges on the federal level, they're playing politics here. And no matter, somebody just said, if Trump said you like puppies, the Democrats would say they hate puppies. It's the case, and it's the same thing with these judges that are appointed by the Democrats. No matter what the case is, they rule against them. Then they go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court sides with the president because the rulings on the lower courts are politically motivated. So let the guy operate, and then we'll make a decision on him. And then people talk, well, he's got to run for a third term. We got to stop it. He's not running for a third term. That's not going to happen. It only happened once, and that was during World War II. We're not going to have a World War III going on here, hopefully. That way, after what FDR say, we're not going to change horses in midstream. Yeah, and he's already said that it's either going to be J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Will probably be the guy's the vice president. Trump's talking about Marco Rubio. One of the things Trump should stop talking every day. I learned the more I can make somebody talk, the more information I'll get out of them. They just can't stop talking. And that's what happens to Trump. He just keeps talking till eventually he inserts his shoe in his mouth, He should stop. Like I said, he's on TV more than Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. And Sheldon Cooper and The Big Bang Theory is syndicated everywhere. You can find Big Bang Theory on TV almost any time of the day. It's on somewhere. It's on 33, it's on 304, it's on 247, all the channels I see it on are on 2, or on 11. God, you can find, and Trump's on more than him. It almost brings back your longing for the days of Biden, where you wouldn't hear from Biden for months. Now we know why. That's just something we should investigate there. How the hell did they completely... I don't know if they completely covered up Biden because there was enough talk about it, but nobody looked into it. That Biden, he wasn't playing with a full deck there. And, you wonder who was really making these decisions. But, the Trump with the tariffs, from what I could tell, again, what Ed Danielski taught me about those mountains of containers, empty containers waiting to be used. Those mountains are coming down along the turnpike. So I think the tariffs are working, and it looks like it leveled the playing field for most of the industries. Of course, not every industry is going to be happy with it. Some industry was doing well, and the other 90% of the industries weren't. But he seems to be pro-development, pro-manufacturing. And if we learned anything from the pandemic, we need to manufacture these important items here in the States, whether it's computer chips, whether it's personal protection, the masks, the vaccines, all this stuff. We need to do it here, not be reliant, especially on China. And it looks like China, I see Canada, they completely dropped their tariffs on the United States. So I think if we get the politics out of it, I think Trump's maybe doing a good job. But again, I'm going to look back on this in a year. I'll look at this back in January and say, see what's been accomplished here. See if this guy's doing his job. ChatGPT, I do a piece called Jersey Line, where I pick the NFL winners. We'll be doing it. I'll make my picks Tuesday. And Jersey Line, we got a new format for Jersey Line that Garrett Guzman put together in the studio. We'll see how this works out. I like stupid simple, but he's juiced it up a bit. So we'll see how this works. We still could go stupid simple if it comes a little too hard to read. I'm going to pick the winners, hopefully the games and their winners. And ChatGPT is also going to be picking football games. You'll see both of us on the bottom how we do week to week, year to date. And we'll see how artificial intelligence does against me picking football games. But it turns out there's some interesting problems with ChatGPT. For that matter, it's been instructing people on how to manufacture illegal drugs, how to manufacture anthrax, how to bomb arenas. I believe in technology. I especially working with the young kids. It's amazing how young these kids are. That they grew up in the technology. You know, what's bewildering to me, you know, I'm a rotary phone guy, you know. That's what I feel like when I talk to these kids in the school, the high school and the college kids. You know, I'm a rotary phone here in the world of smartphones. How they just adapt to it. And we're talking about some of the stuff with these kids. You know, doing the interview with the kid who might do the radio. I'm looking at him and say, "You'll be teaching us some stuff here." You know, we're talking about teaching him. You'll be teaching us. It's amazing how well they adapt to this. But this AI. You know, you're going back to the Terminator movies. We may want to reel this in a bit, if it's possible to reel it in. You know, I know graphic-wise, I can get ChatGPT to pull up a graphic, to make a graphic from scratch in 2 minutes. What would take my people in the studio hours to create with Photoshop and After Effects and all that. There's a lot of pros to this, but there's a lot of cons. I know I'm talking about this guy that killed his wife. A millionaire too. ChatGPT was instructing him and convincing him what he should do. You know, that gets kind of scary here. Scary when ChatGPT will tell you how to make illegal drugs or how to bomb arenas. So somehow there's got to be safeguards put in there. But isn't that how Skynet started? The Terminator. They wanted to put some safeguards in, and the machine uprising occurred. So. Again, that's way over my pay grade. But maybe we should take a good, strong look at the AI. I know Elon Musk is big into it. I don't know if him and Trump are getting back together ever. But if you recall, if you listen to my shows after the election and after Trump was sworn in, I said Elon and Trump are not going to stay together long. There's two alpha males there, and that's not going to work out. All right, listen, I'm going to break for commercial. You're listening to the Shore Show Radio here, Seaside Heights edition, live in Seaside Heights. We'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
I'm back. You're listening to Shore Show Radio, Seaside Heights edition, live from Seaside Heights. The weather is 67 degrees. The sun is shining. I see people walking by with their beach equipment going up to the beach, so it looks like it's going to be a good beach day. I know the beach is fine. I know Billy Ramboli and his DPW crew dragged the beach this morning, get it nice and pristine. Everything on the boardwalk is open now, all the stands. So you can pop some balloons, win a stuffed animal, spin the wheel with Dave Scott there at the Coin Castle. Go over to Lucky Little Leo's, spin some wheels over there. You can go to Lucky Leo's Candy. Amazing story at Lucky Leo's Candy. He just passed on about 3 years ago. So we had Lucky Leo and his family on, and out of the blue they decided, well, maybe out of the blue, I guess they planned it, they're going to get in the candy business. No experience in candy. They're going to make the candy fresh, no experience at all. They went to candy school, and they learned, and tell you what, they make good candy. If I was up on the boardwalk right now broadcasting, they would bring over candy. You want to bring candy over to fat people. That's like an easy giveaway. But you got a lot of candy places on the boardwalk. You got Berkeley. Berkeley was a staple has been a staple on the boardwalk for generations. They were at the Funtown Pier until the fire burned them out. So they're now on the north end of the Seaside Heights boardwalk. There's another one that's just name is escaping me right now. Another candy. There's 3 candy operations that make the candy from scratch on the boardwalk. Of course, you got Berkeley and you got Lucky Leo's, and you got a ton of candy stands. For that matter, my buddy Dave Scott at the casino, Coin Casino. He had the general merchandise stand, which I liked and my mother-in-law loved. She would win coffee pots and toasters and all this sort of thing. There's a candy stand now. They still got like some sweatshirts and baseball shirts. But before, you could get clocks and AM radios, all that, AM, FM radios and CD players, all that. Those days are gone. It was a lot of work to run the general merchandise stand. But it's all candy now. Everything's candy. Yeah, you want to keep your teeth in your mouth. You probably stay away from that candy. But you got all the pizzas on the boardwalk. Best pizza on the boardwalk. For that matter, I got to bring some pizza. My buddy that Auto Elegance. I gave him a party last week. I brought the van down to get the radio put in, but they didn't have the right faceplate, so I had to reschedule. And I told him, listen, I'll bring you a pie. So I brought him a pie, a huge giant pie from Beachcomber. And they did the radio for me yesterday, as I mentioned before. For that matter, this Friday, I'll drop him off a pie when I'm back down this way. For that matter, talking to radios, my daughter got a radio. She has a 2000 Jimmy. She's owned the Jimmy since 2009. It's the only car she's ever owned. 25. Gina still got the same Jimmy. 4-wheel drive. She likes those Jimmy. The radio went, well, first off, started off there was a shifter problem. The shifter cable gave way, and the neutral safety switch had to be replaced. Then after that, there was a drain on the battery. It turns out it was the radio was draining the battery, so we needed a new radio. Gina got one from Amazon, direct fit, and Juan, Auto Repairs by Juan on Patterson Plank Road in North Bergen did the repairs. She just picked it up yesterday. So she got a brand new radio, fits right in, looks like it's supposed to be there, but now it's got Bluetooth. And Juan did the job there. Good job by Juan, so I got to send him pizza off. That's why I drop pizzas. Some people leave money, tips, here's $10, here's 20. I get you pizza. In Seaside, I'll drop it off. North Bergen, I'll have it delivered. Got a guy, Amora Pizza on Kennedy Boulevard, right by the Dunkin' Donuts, up by the Coach House there. That's the guy that does my pizza drops. Good pizza also. Everybody speaks highly of it. So if you're looking for pizza, North Bergen, Union City, Jersey City area, Amora, right on Kennedy Boulevard there. Like I said, not too far from the Coach House, which is the new Coach House, by the way, if you're Jersey City people, Union City, North Bergen. A very expensive Coach House. I went to the movies to see Weapons with my daughters. We were talking about going up to the new Coach House, check it out, so we're checking it online. A bowl of lobster bisque soup was $12. Pork chops was $42. And I said, well, maybe we just go to Red Lobster after we come out of the theater. And that's what we did. And you can't go wrong with Red Lobster. They really downsized the menu. I guess they're focusing. I know they went bankrupt there, and they're focusing on what worked. There's no more endless shrimp because that's what took them bankrupt. But we had a nice meal over there. It's not cheap, but the food was good. The soup was good. I had the shrimp scampi over linguine. That was good. My daughter had the blackened salmon, and my other daughter had some medley over linguine. It was good food. And we had desserts. I shouldn't have had dessert, but I did. We had cheesecake. Gina had key lime pie, and Evelyn also had a cheesecake. Both of us like cheesecake. But the Red Lobster in Seacork is there, right outside of the Regal Cinema. It used to be Curaçao's. Regal Cinema is starting to bug me. It's very expensive going there. You get the 2 Cokes and popcorn. It's like $46 now. They're very expensive to go to the movies. But again, Auto Elegance in Seaside Heights, radio, those high-end rims and tires, and some suspension work. You get that done there. Auto Repairs by Juan. Get anything done by Auto Repairs by Juan. There's also you get gas stations right next to the Basics on Patterson Plank Road. NFL starts this week, Thursday. You got the Cowboys visiting the Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles. They just made Cowboys made a big trade. Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer. And the Cowboys got 2 first-rounders from Green Bay and Kenny Clark. It affected the line. The line was 6.5. I should have took the 6.5 then, but I'm waiting to do my picks on Monday. And I went up to 7.5, but I'm still taking the Eagles. Even though the Cowboys, I think, are 8-2 against the Eagles in the last 10 games. But I'll still go with the Eagles. You know, go to Jersey Line on YouTube, and you'll see all the picks. We should have them up there by Wednesday. We'll have them up before the Thursday game. And it'll be me and ChatGPT will be making the picks. Trump on crime, since we're talking about Trump. Trump's crackdown in D.C. is working. There is no denying that. There are some idiots that are trying to dance around it, mostly on the Democratic side. The guy in Chicago, the mayor of Chicago, they should run him out now. What an effing idiot this guy is. And he was on a Democratic-friendly show, because they talk about Fox being leaning towards the Republicans, and the Morning Joe leans towards the Democrats. Also, the late-night shows, Kimmel, Colbert, lean towards the Democrats. The View does. But there's the Morning Joe. They had the guy on, the mayor of Chicago. And this guy he was pissing off the host there of Morning Joe, who leaned towards the Democrats. They're talking about, would you accept National Guard help for a crackdown on crime in Chicago? Where, there's a problem in Chicago. You see it on the news all the time. And this guy is dancing around about the crime situation there. And he's saying, well, we don't need police. We need affordable housing. That'll bring crime down. I don't know how you correlate that, but it was amazing to watch this guy. You'll see it you go on YouTube. I'm sure you put the clip on. It's there. This guy is a babbling idiot. And this may be what New York City gets if you elect Mandani over there. That may be where New York City is going to go to hell in a handbasket if Mandani becomes the mayor. The only problem there, the only candidate I think's any good is Eric Adams, and he doesn't have a shot. He's polling like 7%. Yeah, I have a problem trusting poll numbers when you're that far down. You're gonna have to look at the poll numbers then. Like the numbers here in Jersey with Citarelli and Mikey Sherrill. I'm not sure those numbers are so accurate. We'll see how this all plays out. I think a lot has to do with how the economy is. I know the fuel prices are the lowest they've been in 5 years. I tell you, the big difference, I don't know why, the big difference in fuel prices here in Tom's River, Seaside Heights, and in Jersey City is like a 10 cents a gallon difference. And the BP, I get like 20 cents off a gallon. I get a discount on my Amazon being a Prime member, and I get a discount being a BP member. And they are opening a BP gas station on 37. They've been opening it for like the last 4 years, but it looks like they're getting close to doing it. When I'm down here, I normally get fuel at the Quick Check, which is right across from the where BP is going to be. Open that BP, at least I'm getting 20 cents a gallon off, but it's more expensive here. And you can't say it's just more of travel time from Linden to get down here from the refineries. But getting back to the crime. The crime is coming down. The statistics, the numbers in this case don't lie. Yeah, the police are saying the crime is down. The people who live in D.C. is crime is down. The crime numbers down. The crime situation is calming down. The mayor has finally come out in D.C. and say, yes, there's a drop in crime, and it's due to the National Guard. Maybe we lost control of crime. Yeah, I don't want to bring back Rudy Giuliani because he went crazy city in the last few years. But when he was the mayor of New York City, he single-handedly brought New York City back. He brought Times Square back. He brought Broadway back by cracking down on crime, what they call that broken windows. He sweated the small stuff. And that's what we have to start doing here. We can't turn our back on crime. The bail reforms are ridiculous. I just read a story this morning. This woman was punched in the streets of Broadway, New York City, somewhere by Broadway, I believe. And they finally caught the guy after 2 years. and he got released on a $1 bail. But fortunately, he was still in jail on a drug charge. This guy had been arrested like 25 times. We keep letting this guy out. You see this repeatedly with these criminals. He's just been released on bail. The cops are getting to the point where, why am I locking this guy up? He's going to be out on the street in an hour. Bail reform, that has to stop. We have to start sweating the small stuff. That man Danny guy's talking about doing away with misdemeanor crimes. That's the broken windows. Can you imagine you don't go to jail for anything under $1,000? Hot dog vendors will never get paid for a hot dog over there. Radios, cell phones, they're just walk in and steal them. You're not going to jail. Probably not even getting locked up now if we're not going to enforce misdemeanor crimes. That's where you lose it. Those crimes turn into big crimes. And what Trump's doing in D.C. is right. And he's setting a trap. Now, I think the mayor of D.C. realizes, and this trap is here. He's talking about going into Trenton. Trenton's got some issues down there, too. Into Chicago and into New York City and maybe back into California. What has happened, Garen Newsom in California, he's another guy that, you see on the news what's happening in California. Like the fire, all those people are burned out like 6 months ago. They're still burned out. They can't get permits to build because they're friggin' incompetence in California. The reservoirs had no water, fire hydrants didn't work. Crime is rapid. Look at San Francisco. I've never been to San Francisco. My wife has been. She sees the footage on TV, and she's like, I don't believe what happened here. This area has just gone to hell. And Garen Newsom thinks he's going to be a president. No way in hell. All you have to do is keep looking at New York, California, and say, yeah, that ain't going to happen, buddy. You're not going to be there. But he realizes Trump has made crime an issue. And now Garen Newsom is putting more cops on the street in New York City. Eric Adams just said he's putting 1,000 more cops on the street in New York City. They don't want to get caught in a Trump trap where the next crime, and I think there was just a shooting in the Bronx last night, where the mayor's going to be at a crime scene, and a reporter is going to ask, and it's a guaranteed asked question, will you take Donald Trump on his offer of National Guard assistance for a crime crackdown? That siren you hear in the back is some sort of an emergency in Seaside Heights. They're calling the volunteer fire department to charge. Get to the firehouse, get on the trucks. So hopefully it's a cat in a tree and not a fire somewhere. Now, Kenny Roberts and the gang down here, they do a good job. Always donate to them down here. It's all volunteer. It's a small, Seaside Heights is small. It's only 17 blocks long, I think. Very similar. Very similar to Hoboken during the season. Right now, it's Hoboken, population-wise. After Columbus Day, population is going to drop a lot after Monday. But after Columbus Day, down to like 1,600 people. If that. They say it's 1,600. I don't think so. I've been down here at night in November. You stand out on the deck here, and there's no lights on in the houses. Like, everybody shut their light off? I don't think so. There's just nobody here. It's all summer rentals here. I know the mayor, Tony Vaz, wants to make Seaside Heights a 24/7, 365 community, and it was at one point until the 50s. They had, like, gas stations, they had pharmacies, they had supermarkets, they had bakeries, they had butcher shops. They had everything. They had banks, post offices. They don't have any of that anymore. You got a post office. Banks are gone. There's no supermarkets. There's no gas stations. No place to get your car repaired. You had everything here, but somebody made the decision to go all in on tourism, and this became the 5 months out of the year community. But getting back to the crime, Eric Adams, Garen Newsom, they don't want to get caught in that trap. They're going to have to fight crime, and they can point it and picture it any way they want. It's all because of Trump. Trump has now taken on crime in the United States, and fortunately, someone had to, and he's the guy. We have to get some more funding for the National Guard. We got the military, too. We can use the military. I don't see how any mayor or governor could possibly turn down assistance with fighting crime. You're nuts. And you're in the trap. As soon as you're at some crime scene where the mayor is going to be there or the governor is going to be there saying, well, this is a situation, we're going to investigate this as best as possible, it's awful, blah, blah, blah. Somebody's going to ask that question, and you're going to have to answer that. Will you take up the president's offer but National Guard help fighting the crime. And that trapped Eric Adams didn't want to be in it. He's putting 1,000 more people on the street. Gary Newsom, who is an incompetent buffoon, in my opinion. Yeah, they look at what happened. It's what's happening in California. It's a shame. He's putting cops on the street. It's state troopers to try to fight crime because he realizes Trump is right. You got to make America safe. And, we see it. We're not too. I'm from Jersey City. James Shea and Mayor Fulop has done a pretty damn good job of crime. You're not going to eradicate all of it. We've eradicated quite a bit. I know Mayor Fulop, when there's a major crime or a murder in Jersey City, he's like banging his head against a friggin' wall there because he's done everything possible he can. Nobody has done more to increase the police department than Steve Fulop, the mayor of Jersey City. Upgraded the police station, new police headquarters. Yeah, he's tried everything, but there are some people that are hell-bent on crime. And those are people who nearly get off the street. That and people with mentally issues, mentally challenged, who are violent. And people who push you in front of a train, stab you for no reason. Those people have to get off the street. Like this kid that just is a shooting in Minneapolis. Yeah, maybe got some more sirens here in the background. That might be a water rescue. He'd never been in trouble with the law before, but he had some mental issues. He had some interesting writing. Isn't it amazing how all these shooters like this document everything they're going to do? They draw pictures and they lay it all out in manuals or in tweets and Facebook and all that they're going to commit these crimes. It's almost like Batman or a superhero situation where Lex Luthor is going to explain his whole diabolical plan to Superman before he fails at killing Superman. That's how these guys are. They're laying it all out. Maybe we're missing the red flags here. But somehow, some way, we got to get a handle on this. And it's amazing when you're looking at the age of these shooters. This kid's 23 years old. You're 20 years old, 23 years old. And they got the Airbnb guest here. Just came out. They got all their beach chairs in their hands. They're going up to the beach. They have so much hate in their heart at such a young age. Life hasn't beaten the hell out of these people. Where do they get the hate? And this kid that killed an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old in the church, a back-to-school mass. It's like the Sandy Hook. I'll never forget the face of that one girl, blonde-haired girl from Sandy Hook. But again, it's these young kids are committing these crimes. Where do they have the hate? And everybody's going to point to the guns. Yeah, it's the old saying, guns don't kill, people do. They're hell-bent on killing. They're going to kill. Whether a car, knife, firebomb, whatever it is, they're going to kill. The question is, how do they get to this point? None of this happened when we were kids. I'm 68 years old. The only thing we had was back then when somebody went postal. Some guy in the post office went nuts and shot people up. That was it. You went to school. You didn't have cops in there. You didn't have metal detectors or anything like that. The doors were open. Not the case anymore. Everything is on high alert. Everything's like DEFCON 5, whether DEFCON 1, whatever the worst one is. I think it's DEFCON 5. No, I think DEFCON 1 is the bad, right? Yeah. I think it is. Sounds good, right? Either DEFCON. As soon as you hit DEFCON, you know there's a problem. But, we didn't have these problems. We had kids. You know what? There were guns everywhere back then, too. Nobody was shooting anybody up. Every house had guns. You knew what they were, too. You just didn't touch them. You want to buy a gun? You buy a gun in any bar in Jersey City back in the old days. I don't know what changed. For a while they were blaming it on video games. And it's not the video games. I'm starting to think it had a lot to do with the social media. I think that's what it is. But you get back to Trump. The Trump has, he's made crime a focal point, and that's gonna help in elections. What he's doing in D.C. it's gonna go a long way. And like I said, it's already motivated Eric Adams in New York, and Gary Newsom, that knucklehead in California, start using the state troopers to combat crime. I wouldn't mind seeing police at the National Guard in Jersey. We got situations in Camden and Newark. You got situations in Trenton. We're not too bad in Jersey City, but you want to send somebody in? Send them in. I have no problem bringing National Guard troops in here. On the radio business, Bill Spadier is back. I know I spoke about this yesterday. The more I think about this is really bad timing. Bill Spadier is all on record saying he's not going to endorse Jack Citarelli. He's not going to endorse the candidate for the Republican Party, which, it's fine. But you shouldn't have Spadier back on the air until November the 5th then, because he's not going to do Citarelli any favors here. He's basically been campaigning against Citarelli for 8 years. He ran against him this time, but the last time Jack ran against Phil Murphy, Spadier was doing him no favors there either. And, Jack lost by about 2 or 3%. I'm saying Jack like I know him. I actually had him in the studio last campaign. He did a piece on the Shore Show, on the TV version of this show. That seems like a nice enough guy. Yeah, Phil Murphy, I had high hopes for Phil Murphy. I was hoping about municipal consolidation, school district consolidation, shared services. None of that happened. Budgets went crazy. It's the most expensive state. So that's the things that have to happen. Got to make New Jersey safe. You got to make New Jersey affordable. You got to address the school funding, which is the biggest part of your tax bill. You got to address the energy crisis, and we're getting into one real fast here. Your bills, November, you're going to see the real increases, and you got more increases coming. We have to start generating energy. And LBI, Save LBI, who fought the wind farms off the Jersey coast there, is now considering asking Trenton and the state government to revisit the wind farms in an effort to help the energy crisis. Wind farms aren't going to be helping the energy crisis. If they're not windy, no electricity will be generated. It's very expensive, the wind farms, and usually those propellers are high maintenance. I'm not even sure the one in Bayonne is even working. I don't think it's spun much in the last 10 years it's been there. There have been problems with all these wind farms. There's problems with the aquatic life around the wind farms. There's a problem with the fishing industry around the wind farm. There's a problem with pollution from the wind farms because there's oil based in there. There's a problem with maintaining these things. They break down constantly. And the other big question is the problem with them? The wind. If it's not windy, there's no generation. Solar, it could contribute, but it's very expensive, the wind farm. Same thing with the solar. You have to take huge swaths of land to make this work with these black solar panels on it. My kids here have probably 140 solar lights. Now, it's just an example. I know the solar farms would be far more sophisticated than this, but it is an example. If the sun, you have a day where you don't have no sun, you're not going to have much solar light at night. And it's the same thing. The solar, the light charges the batteries in here, in the solar lights, and at night they go on. But if there's no sun, there's no charge on those batteries. We closed like 6 generating plants here in New Jersey. We need to reopen them. We need to put some more online. We turned down 2 of them, one in North Bergen and one in Kearney. We got to get into the business of generating our own electricity, and things will get cheaper. Right now, we're buying in the market. We stopped generating, but we didn't stop utilizing electricity. Everything is electric now. You go back to where you were 25 years ago to today, and everything's electric. If it isn't electric, it needs to be charged by electric. But everything in your house is electric. When I'm in Seaside, we're sitting outside having coffee. I have a police scanner. The police scanner has to be charged. Everything in the house has to be charged. Everything's plugged in. Every outlet has something in it. It's not like it was 25 years ago. You had your TV, you had your refrigerator. Maybe you had your ColecoVision, your Atari plugged in. That's it. That's before the personal computers started popping up. Now everything's electric. You got plugs that are electric plugs in the plug. We got for Alexa there. I can turn on lights in the house. Everything's electric now. So we stopped generating, but we didn't stop consuming. So then we had to go out in the market and buy electricity, and it's expensive. And this, again, falls down to the feet of Phil Murphy. He brought it all in his ideology about green energy before it was proven. You run this stuff parallel until it can replace it. But we didn't do that. We went all in on a questionable source of energy, very questionable, and we shut down solid, reliable, proven sources of energy. And that's why we're in this situation. That's the problem. But we were talking about crime in D.C. Trump is on the right track. We need to be on the right track here in Jersey, too. If there's crime, I'd like to see the mayor of Trenton or the mayor of Camden call the president. Say, listen, we can use your help. Make Jersey safe. We got to make Jersey affordable. Yeah, I think if we stop the politics, which never stops here anymore, that's another problem we have. We're getting too deep into the politics. You did your politics during the campaign. Your side won, great. Your side lost. Lick your wounds and wait 4 years. The campaign never stops now. It doesn't stop in Washington. It doesn't stop in Trenton. There's Democrats and Republicans are constantly fighting. We're not doing the business of the people. If we're doing the business of the people, we wouldn't have this energy problem. We wouldn't be so costly. We keep talking about affordable housing. You can't have affordable housing if the state and the cities they're in, you live in aren't affordable. Like that guy was talking about, the guy's working, he's living in a car. He can't get an affordable house for $1,800. So, yeah, we got to do something about affordable housing. And it should be done the old way. I'm not talking about building townhouses. I'm talking about building high-rises where we can put, 50, 60, 70 units in a high-rise. If people with money can live that way, people with lower middle income can live that way also. But we used to do that. And it was affordable. We had the feds, the county, the state, the municipality. They all got together and they were to build this affordable housing. We don't do that now. That's the kind of thing we need to do. We got to make it safe, New Jersey safe. We got to make it affordable. And that's got to be the job. We got to do something about school funding. You can't have 565 different school districts because they all have salaries attached to them. They all have pensions. They all have holidays. They all have benefits involved. And you got to pay for that. 565 school districts. There are 21 counties. Why do we need 565 school districts? We have 21 school districts. These are the things we need to look at. It's kitchen table issues. Cost, crime. I could probably come up with everything with a C. School funding, all that has to be looked at. To get it affordable here. It's like I was saying, I don't know, it was yesterday, the week before. I don't know how a young couple makes it in New Jersey now. You certainly can't buy a house. You got to pay. A house is $1 million. Rent on a one bedroom is like $3,500, $4,000. I don't know how you do that. All right, let's break for commercial. You listen to Shore Show Radio, Seaside Heights edition. I'm Pat O'Melia here on GGR. I'll be right back.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintodevelopment.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its two newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
You're listening to Shore Show Radio, Seaside Heights edition, live in Seaside Heights. It is the Labor Day weekend, Saturday of the Labor Day weekend. So you got today, you got Sunday, and you got Monday. Got a lot of events going on in Seaside Heights right now. Everything is open in Seaside Heights. It is a beautiful day. It is 68 degrees in Seaside. The sun is very shiny. Got a lot of people walking up the street here, going to the beach, taking their equipment with them. I like the ones that are really organized. Got their little collapsible pull cart. There's mom and dad taking a baby up to the boardwalk in the stroller. They got all their equipment in those collapsible carts, dragging it up behind them. You got your beach chairs, you got your coolers in there, you got your umbrellas. You're all set for a good day on the beach. Like I said, it's 68 degrees. I think it's getting up to 75. So it's a really nice day on the boardwalk. Air quality is good. Beach is pristine, so you're in really good shape. Monday, you have Broadway on the beach. We have the Broadway performers here on the stage at Franklin Street, where I'm normally broadcasting from. It's my stage, but you'll have the Broadway performers up there. They'll be singing, they'll be dancing, they'll be playing parts of their Broadway shows. That is free. Get up there. I think it starts at 6 o'clock. So get there a little earlier, bring your beach chair, claim your spot. Claim your spot, you're set. For that matter, I'm ordering some director chairs for the radio sets, the travel sets, and they had one on one arm. You have bags there. You can put your glasses and paraphernalia. I can put radio equipment in there. And on the other arm, had like a little cooler setup where you can put your drinks in there and keep it cool. That you may want as you're watching the Broadway on the beach. But I'm going to get two of those. They're collapsible because right now, the travel set, I'm taking stackable chairs, and they're freaking heavy. So I'm going to order two of these chairs. Actually, they're pretty durable, too. They can handle up to 600 pounds, which handles me pretty easy. So we're going to get two of those. I'm not going to get the one with the cooler. I don't need the cooler, but I like the little saddlebags on the side. So you just put like your connections and your cables and your quarter-inch pins and all that stuff. I'm going to order some of them. Today, I'm going to get my computer back from Computer Hospital in Toms River on Fisher Boulevard, 1177 Fisher Boulevard. Pick that up right after the show. I'll be back in the computer business. Hey, it's amazing. I've been working a long time. I've been doing this before computers. It's amazing how reliant we've become. That's talking about using energy, electric. Computers are part of your life. Your smartphone, your computer, and it's amazing how we operate with our computers. And again, I did it before. I remember not having a computer on a desk. I remember not being this, all my programming, all my accounting is on the computers. I got three companies. I got the not-for-profit, and I got Hudson Media, and I got Ready to Roll. That's all on the computer. Everything is on there. It's like losing an arm. So I'll pick up my arm, like Bucky. I'll pick up my arm later, and I'll be back in the computer business. And it always amazes me how well the computers run after you send them in to get repaired. I do want to get my video mixes serviced. They're actually PCs, But my guy said he doesn't think he can fix them. I got to find somebody who can do that. But my mixes, they're pretty lengthy now time-wise. I guess I've had them about 10 years, really good machines. They do our video switching. They do our streaming. Looking at newer equipment now. There's some Rollin. I'm looking at their equipment to upgrade them. As, you know, these guys are 10 years old. Even though I've had them serve. We service them ourselves. Now, Garrett might be able to do it. He's a computer guy. So it's amazing how these young people take to the technology. They grow up in the technology. But before, we'd have like Mike Robner. He would change the hard drives and the video graphic disc. The biggest problem we had opening our video mixes is opening the video mixes. They had these weird screws in there, and I have like every tool imaginable. And you start unscrewing them, the head would come off, and I had to come out and drill out the heads. But I'd like to get those serviced. After we come back from hiatus on the 15th of September, so I got about a little more than 2 weeks to go and service the rest of my equipment and get everything working properly so we can have another good year. So I mentioned before, let me finish this with Bill Spadia. I start branching out when I spring at a topic. Bill Spadia is back on NJ 101.5 Tuesday morning. He was the morning host for 10 years. He had all these political aspirations, and that didn't work out. He got crushed in the primary for governor. He's had a problem with Jack Citarelli for the longest time. He's campaigned against Jack Citarelli for the last 8 years. And he's coming back. I don't have a problem with Bill coming back, but he's going to have to come back with a different attitude. I know he's saying, I'm still the voice of the people. I'll fight for the people. You know, Bill, you kind of showed your cards there. I don't have a problem with Bill coming back. I'm amazed that none of the other, well, maybe I'm not amazed that many of the other stations didn't approach him. At least we didn't hear about it. We probably would have heard about it. That they're bringing him back during the governor's campaign. You want to bring Bill back, bring him back on the 5th. For that matter, I thought Eric Scott did a much better job than Bill did. But, he's got more name value than Eric Scott, even though I thought Eric did a great job. I wouldn't be bringing him, Bill back, Spadia, till November 5th, after the election. But he's not going to do any favors to Jack Citarelli. And he's already said it. He's not even going to pretend like he likes Jack Citarelli. He's not going to endorse him. He's supposed to be a Republican. He'd endorse the party. But all things said, and with all the say, I'm sure there'll be some safeguards that the corporate leaders at NJ 101 and Square Media are going to put in place, Town Square Media. But still, shouldn't have him back until November the 5th. This is a mistake. But what can I say? Now, Jersey Line, that'll be up on probably Wednesday. So you can see the beginning of my football picks, me against GP Chat. We'll see if I can do better than artificial intelligence. I certainly won't tell you how to create anthrax or bombs or illegal drugs. I won't be doing that. Remember Seaside Heights? Like I said, the beach, Broadway meets the beach. Yeah, I might even roam up there. I'll be here. I'm going to do some oil changes. I'm working on my cars already for the winter. Just got some antifreeze. Got the right kind of antifreeze for these little Chevys. I'm still a green antifreeze guy. I earlier got to talk to professionals. Everybody, you don't want to mix the green with the orange. And I'm looking at the bottle. It says it goes with any antifreeze in any car. Now, I've been using green antifreeze but I got the right colors for the Chevys here, my 2 Chevy Avos. My black Chevy Avo, I'm doing a lot of highway with that. It's getting around almost 35 miles to the gallon, so that's pretty good. Yeah, my van, my E250 van, it gets 12 to the gallon. It's a lot. Same thing with my Lincoln. She doesn't get a lot of mileage. She'll probably get 20 miles to it. But I'm up and down a lot, so I need good mileage. And I got a second Chevy Avo that never leaves Seaside Heights. I have cars in Seaside Heights. I got cars in North Bergen. I got cars in Jersey City. If one of my cars break down, I'm not Ubering. I just get into another car until I get the other one fixed. There's always a spare car around me somewhere. All my cars have a job. That one just when I'm in Seaside, it's a Seaside runaround. I got a little Kia, 4-wheel drive. That's the lifeboat. It backs up me and my kids. It's a 4-wheel drive for the winter. The van, of course, does the heavy lifting. We're moving the big set pieces around or any heavy stuff we got to move. The Ford Transit Connect over there is the control van for the high school program. We're out on the field. We'll do our filming and do our radio broadcast there. The Lincoln is a highway car. I got a 1994 Oldsmobile. I look at it now as a classic. I looked at it just an old car. It gets around 22 to the gallon. Good little car. It's like a time capsule. It's got like 57,000 miles on it. And it looks like she just rolled out of a showroom. So it's a good little car. I think that's it. I got all the cars? I think that's all of them. If you add my two daughters' cars in there, I got like 9 cars. But all the cars have a job they have to do. Predominantly the highway cars are the ones I use the most. But get to talk about a little of local. Tom's River, the mayor there, Dan Roderick. I think Dan's a good mayor. I think Dan is terrible as a people person. He's just not a people person. He just doesn't communicate well. He rubs everybody the wrong way. But his municipal leadership, I'll give Dan. I pretty much agree with everything Dan has been saying he wants to do in Tom's River. But it's pretty much similar to what we do in Jersey City. Just a smaller problem, but we got a bigger in Jersey City. And Tom's River, their problems are the same, just smaller because it's a smaller town. One of the third rail he stepped on, and it cost him probably the council. He wanted to take over a church because the church wanted to open a homeless shelter for 20 beds. So he wanted eminent domain them, and he tried to go around the church. Didn't negotiate them fairly, and the town fought back, and eventually Dan realized this isn't going to work. So he backed off, but he backed off too late. Some of his running mates lost the election because of what he was doing with the church, what I call stepping on the third rail. So he's backing down on that. Now he has a recall petition that'll probably get some legs. But again, as I said when he first got elected, Dan Roderick needs buffers. He probably needs 2 buffers. He needs somebody to put a hand over his mouth sometimes. His mindset is right. What he wants to accomplish in town is right. He's doing exactly what he campaigned on. And you can't ask more out of your elected leader than doing what they campaigned on. You don't campaign on one thing and then do another. And politicians get blamed for that all the time. Roderick was doing exactly when he was elected, what he campaigned on. The church thing was petty. He didn't want that homeless shelter there, and it cost him. It cost some of his running mates their position on the council. Dan's really got to get some buffers. I think he'll be a successful mayor, provided he gets some good inner circle people around him. The people around him now got to go. I'm running out of show here. Remind you again, the weather here in Seaside Heights is beautiful today. It is 68 degrees, probably going up to around 75. The air quality is good. The beach is pristine. The boardwalk is ready for you. Everything is open. Don't forget, on Monday, you have the Broadway meets the beach. You could go up there. You want to look there. They didn't say who they're going to have up there. If you're a Broadway person, you'll recognize probably everybody who's in there. You'll probably recognize all the performers. Music. I know they're just talking about the Lion King. One of the performers there is retiring after 25 some odd years on the stage there. Imagine that, doing that same role for 25 years. She's the one who goes, yeah. I didn't see the Lion King. I know they hold the little lion over the head. I didn't see that. I haven't seen a lot of plays. Seen Phantom. Okay, a quick one. I've seen Oklahoma. No, Camelot it was. I went at the Paper Mill Playhouse, and it was the day that I was doing a performance for the hearing impaired. Nobody told us we had that. We had these signers right in front of us, signing the whole play. They were really good. But you couldn't take your eyes off the signers at the Paper Mill Playhouse. And we wound up getting free tickets for that. My wife says, nobody told me this was for the hearing impaired. My husband couldn't stop watching the signers. They were really good. But I enjoy the plays. I don't enjoy going over to New York. It's such a pain. And now you gotta worry about your safety over there. So again, going back to crime, Eric Adams doing the right thing, putting 1,000 more cops on the street. He should probably call up the president and say, hey, Mr. President, I am interested in some help fighting crime. It might even help him with the election. But the problem I was talking about, the thing with Mandanning before, if you elect a socialist, it's going to be a real problem for New York City, but you don't really have a lot of good alternatives. I'd probably go with Eric Adams over Cuomo or Sleewer. I got a history with Sleewer. Man doesn't keep his word. Eric Adams is probably the best bet, but that's not going to happen. We're at a show. Remember, Seaside Heights, all weekend, the weather's good. Take a ride down, days, stay over. You got the motels. You can stay over at night. They're about $85 a night. The beach, Billy Ramboli will have the beach all set up for you every morning, so you're in good shape there. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you next week. Enjoy your Labor Day holiday. And again, get down to Seaside Heights.